Hey everybody, and welcome to another Binary Ninja live stream. As you may have seen on the intro text, intro slide, if you saw that, we have a special guest this week. I like to make it a surprise, but I don't make it too much of a surprise. So let's switch over now. If I got this right, we should have... Oh, no, we don't. We have the live stream itself. I did it wrong. All right, well, Andrew, I think they can hear you. If you want to say something, they just can't see
Testing.
you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Oh, all right. So it looks like hopefully they can hear you. But
Okay.
I just got to fix my layout because apparently I'm capturing the wrong window this time. Uh, Instead of the they're seeing our like stream analytics half covered by this. So let me adjust that, and let's see if that works. No, it's not the right window. Where's the right window? Hangouts, where did you go? Oh, you're killing me. So yeah, to answer your question, Josh, the way that we did this. Oh, there it is. I did do it. I said okay. Now they see you. All right,
I'm
wait,
the
fine,
special
Andrew.
guest.
Yes, surprise! Is special
Okay.
guest Andrew L. Um, so first, Josh, to answer your question from chat, these are all the YouTube Music library, so you can go and get a bunch of free. And there's some decent tracks, and actually, Glenn and mostly our Josh, Vector 35 Josh, gathered that list for the Hackasat streams that we were doing, and so we had a whole bunch of nice music that was licensed that way. So. Andrew, you already got a shout out. Brindley says hi in chat. I don't know if you're watching chat, but I'll relay messages if anybody sends them. So Brindley says
Hi,
hi.
Hi, Brinley.
And Brindley's got to get up at like 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning in Australia to watch these. So
Oh, really?
that's yeah.
Well, I feel extra special then.
Exactly. So now Brindley knows who Andrew is, but for others in the chat that might not know who you are, do you want to, I guess, introduce yourself?
Well, I'm a developer, and in the last couple months, I've been working on the ARM 64 architecture, specifically making sure that disassembly and lifting are as accurate as they can be. And
And
that was
and you're a Vector 35 developer in particular too, right? Like you've been, in fact, you actually were the first non-founder hire at Vector 35 to come work on Butter Ninja.
yes, fourth human being here, but first technical employee.
Yes. So like the most important human. That was like, oh, this is a real company now. We have somebody
Right.
that's come along with us. So yeah, it's been several years, and like what are some of the other things you worked on too, right? It's nice to give people an overview of other things you've touched.
Geez, I forget so fast. I worked on the ARM thumb architecture. I
Yep.
made the hackathon. I made
Oh,
the
Kai Tai.
plugin, the Kai Tai Struct
Yeah,
plugin.
that's a great plugin.
Um,
I
the
think
debugger.
the debugger. I was about to say debugger. I want to let you get to it, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's probably one a lot of people would know you for. You and Glenn were the two folks that did most of that. And
Yeah.
on the note of it too, you're coming back to that. I think the plan, right, is for after ARM for you to go back and touch debugger again. So you'll get another pass at that.
Yeah, I was going to say, people probably know me from debugger. They're probably cursing me because, if debugger's not working, but I will be headed back to that in a couple weeks. So, yeah, hopefully fix those
Yeah, I mean, I
problems.
think there's a couple little like usability things and a couple of features like multi-threading and other stuff that people have commonly requested. But I actually do know a fair amount of people that are using debugger, so like it's in use out there. Somebody even mentioned it just today actually. So yeah, it would be nice to do another round of features and enhancements on it, but bug fixes. But so yeah, but the main reason we got you on today is besides the fact that I eventually want to get everybody from Vector 35 on stream at some point to share the load. Um, I did say commonly requested, but calmly requested. People have calmly requested things too. Josh, I'm speaking a little too rapidly. Probably I should enunciate a little bit more. Yeah, so we're here talking about the ARM thing. I think the ARM stuff is super interesting. Oh, that's the other thing you did that was really interesting is you put together the evolved disassembler or assembler rather, right, on
Yes.
PowerPC.
Right.
So, and I think that like is kind of a good summary of like you like to approach things of like how do I automate this as much as possible, right? Like I don't want to like how much code can I write to write code versus doing it myself. And although you have
Yeah.
said in the past that like sometimes the cost of the initial code is more than maybe you would just if you would have done it yourself. So I
Yes.
guess my first question for you is like, can you explain how you did this new ARM disassembly AR64 refactor, and then was it worth it? Is the second part of that question.
Okay. Well, prior to me coming on the project, we had a handwritten assembler, I think mostly by the other employee, Peter. And handwritten assemblers are awesome because they're small, and as you know, a human going through the specification, you can find ways to factor things into tables, or you can use your brain to optimize, and you make human readable code, which not only means it goes fast, but if somebody has to maintain the disassembler in the future, they can kind of quickly get on your train of thought and find out where new code needs to go. In some cases, in other cases, you figure out that the instruction set's been extended in such a way that the current lookup table, doesn't take into account certain bits, and you've got a big job on your hand. But overall, I'd say human written disassemblers are easier to maintain and easier to parse. I think that one of the downsides is that as the ISA grows, which it has, you have to continually keep doing work, and you might not be accurate. You might not be accurate to the spec as you're writing, as you're translating from what you read and what the specification is. You can make a human error when you implement it, and it could be hard to find.
And like,
so my goal,
I think like the bigger the architecture too, the more of a benefit you get, right? Obviously, in a very small architecture, if you got specification, like writing a parser for the spec and a generator is going to be more work. But like the bigger the architecture gets, the more like of a payoff, right? I would think.
Yes, like in our API, the NES, architecture.
Yeah.
You would be a fool to try to make an automated tool for that. It's clearly made to be written by hand, and it does fine as it is. But the ISA for this is so large. ARMv8 is huge, and it seems like roughly twice a year the spec gets released by ARM, an updated one. And it'd be really cool in an automated fashion to have our disassembler automatically get up to speed with the new spec.
Yeah, so and to reiterate too, for if folks are not familiar with ARM, they are rather unique amongst like x86, for example, and that they actually have a intentionally machine readable specification for how the CPU, how the instructions work, all the different encodings. So like theoretically, this like on the outset seems like something that should be doable. Would you say that there were problems you ran into that you didn't expect that made it kind of harder than you'd hoped?
Yeah, the spec has, it's got what you'd expect from a specification for an ISA. It has like, which fields are present and the instruction encoding, but then it describes two things with this P code, which is also referred to as a ASL architecture specification language, depending on where you go online.
This is not related to Ghidra's P code, which is also not related to the original decompiler P code. Which is not like P code gets used a lot, right? It's a generic term too.
So we could call it ASL, our ARM architecture specification language. Anyways, for every instruction, there's a decoding ASL given, which gives you kind of a language that describes how you would decode and make sure that this instruction falls into a certain encoding class. And then there's a second half, which is the operational P code or the operational ASL, and that describes what the machine does whenever it executes this instruction.
Josh Watson's trying to cyber you there, by the way. He just said A/S/L ? In the in the chat. Actually,
30 something. Yeah.
Let's why don't you pull it up? Do you want to pull down the spec or pull up some of and so we can show people what that looks like, and we'll switch over to screen share.
Okay. Let me see here. Here's screen. Let me know if you can see it starting now. Can you see my screen?
Looks like it.
Okay. So if you Google, like a few months ago, I was Googling around for this kind of stuff, and I think that this guy, Alistair Reed, he was a previous employee, and he had talked about machine readable spec, and he's where I got a lot of these terms like ASL and stuff from. Whenever you go to the actual ARM developer website where you find these documents, you don't see ASL or mentions of a P code or even MRS, machine readable spec. It's just not on the page. They call it something very generic. But when you download this, basically what you're getting is a big zip file of XMLs, and those XMLs have been used to generate HTMLs. So when I'm going around as a human reading, what a certain instruction does, I'll of course browse the HTML, but the code that I have that parses all this is parsing it from the XML file. And you can see here that you've got the generic kind of English description. You've got a description what the fields are. This is the decoding side of ASL, like what would...
So I was messing with my timers, And clearly I did something wrong.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. My outro timer kicked off and played the ending video. Sorry about that, folks.
Well,
You're live. You're live. Go ahead.
yeah. Anyways, and then after, I'm sure anybody who's browsed a spec have seen stuff like this. And at the end, there's operational pseudocode. So basically, it's pretty straightforward. I want to be able to parse these tables of fields. I want to be able to parse this decoding pseudocode, and I want to be able to generate the correct disassembly from this.
So now one of the people in chat actually asked, so can you use then that pseudocode to be able to make a lifter as well? Like, we've talked about the disassembler, but what about lifting?
In a dream world, yes, that'd be awesome if we can go through all this operational pseudocode and generate lifting from it, generate binary ninja IL that reflect this. It might be possible. There might be a guy who's really good at languages and such that can do it, but I have found it feasible and practical to parse this to generate code. I have not found a way to, I've not thought it practical. It would take me a long time to do that. So for instance, what is this instruction? Add HN. I don't want to get into the details, but essentially add some stuff. You can see this is going to be the destination register and the source. So you can imagine the IL is going to be something like add, here's the two input operands, and here's the output operand. You could see it shouldn't require more than 1, 2, or 3 lines, but look at what would have to be translated. You'd have to go from this to, to the IL, and
you'd have to write your own like optimizing compiler to go back to BNIL to like,
yeah,
it just seems like a lot of.
Let's just say it's beyond me at this point. It's one of those cases where I think it's more practical for me to go in with my eyeballs and notice stuff like this and say, hey, I noticed a pattern. The destination register is always named VD, and the source registers are very commonly named V and VM, and make something that parses this to generate IL versus trying to generate this monster. And this is a very small example. Some of the operational IL is absolutely ginormous, and it looks at fields and stuff that I haven't even heard of before. So yeah, that'd be really cool if we could parse that. I don't think it's good for this project. It would just take too much time.
Glenn's asking if ASL is recursive. Does ASL ARM use randomized stack layouts? I don't think there's a stack specified in the spec for the pseudocode implementation.
Yeah. It's one of these fancy kind of academic languages. Some people have converted it to OCaml, and it's got data types that can change size. It's a different kind of beast than I'm used to.
So what have we gotten sort of like from this over the last couple months of your work? Like you mentioned earlier that one of the potential benefits is better accuracy. Do you think that's been the case as a result? Kind of like you look at what we've got now versus what we had before you replaced it?
Absolutely, I do. Not just accuracy, but coverage. So if we looked at the old disassembler, there was like SVE, for example, is like 1/4 to 1/3 of the entire instruction space, and we didn't cover any of it. So if you looked at a picture of the whole instruction space, we're missing this huge chunk. And if you looked at SVE, it's not really something you want to sit around and make a disassembler for. So by automated disassembly, we got that whole 1/3 of the instruction space.
I assume the V in that is vector SVE. I don't know what the whole thing is, but
it's a special vector extension. I always forget the name of it, and that's like the one that comes after advanced SIMD, and yeah, it gets deep. But anyways, yeah, it's some special instructions that we didn't have any support for at all for. As far as other instructions that did we get them wrong and now they're right? I just I got full coverage by generating the entire disassembler. So rather than waste time, did I correct this? I correct this. Well, now we just have them all.
Yeah.
So
and go ahead.
I was going to say, like, to get it right, like it's kind of at first thought, it's like, oh, of course you can get it right. You just compare it to an authoritative disassembler. And then as you're going along, you realize there's really not one. ARM doesn't release one.
That's what I was about to exactly ask you. Is describe your testing methodology for when you did some of that evaluation.
Well, at the beginning, whenever this thing wasn't really working, you're just trying to get like that initial kind of bootstrap phase. You're kind of just looking for anything that'll work. And then when it doesn't, you're with humility, you're saying, okay, I probably got it wrong. This thing just started working. So I have this. Can you still see my screen now?
Yep.
So at the bottom left, I have kind of this committee of disassemblers where I compile LLVM with different flags. I compile libopcodes with its different flags, and Capstone. So 3 kind of well-known disassemblers. And any instruction that I want to run, like here I'm disassembling A, A, B, B, C, C, it'll call to all those and it'll reverse the, I made it for convenience. So just in case I get the Indianness wrong, it flips it. And I can see that there is consensus among all these disassemblers that this is an ORN instruction and that there should be an ASR, pound 51 at the end. And you can see that we present it as a hex and these as a decimal. So at the beginning, every time that we mismatched with all the other disassemblers, I would go in, look at the spec and see what went wrong. And remember, not replace it on the spot. I would then go back to the generator and see, hey, what's wrong with the generator that it ended up generating code that got wrong? And oftentimes when you fix that, it would fix, a big portion of other ones that were wrong also. As time goes on and it was becoming more and more accurate, then when there was a conflict, when, Benja would disagree with some of the others, I would look at the spec and every once in a while we would be right and the others would be wrong. So that's whenever, I wish I had a case right now, but that's when you really feel like you got value out of making the generator, because there could be a case where somebody's disassembling and we could, possibly be an authority on it. At least we can say, if our translator from the spec to code is correct, then this is exactly how it should disassemble. So we can make a claim that it's accurate disassembly.
Yeah, and there could be bugs in the spec. That's certainly always possible. But the nice thing is, or in the translator, but if they fix a bug in the spec, you just rerun the translator, right? That's the nice thing, is that you can benefit from that with little effort. So and in fact, I think even I saw the commits from Europe where it looks like he's kind of separating out some of the disassembly logic, and it might be possible. Oh, we get a lower cursor view when you flip back. That's funny. We get where it might be possible to make like a standalone disassembler. So it's possible that I think he's kind of making progress on having a little command line tool. You could feed in instructions or bytes or a stream of stuff and get back disassembly based on this library. And so on that note, that's doable, right? Because we open sourced all of our architectures just in the last couple months. And it's also resulted in some benefit from us too, in that we've already gotten a lot of feedback from people, especially on the lifting side. I think that's been the main place that we've seen it. But I mean, what kind of pull requests have you seen? And to be clear as well, you're sort of also like the maintainer of both RMV7 and AR64, sort of as a result of this, that you've been corralling and reviewing all the PRs and working with other folks from outside Vector 35 on this, right?
I have, and I've been lucky. There's not a lot of maintenance. Both all the members of ARM Day, they submitted good PRs. I haven't had to like go through and really, scrub anybody's code or anything. And everyone's been, let's say, diplomatic, negotiable. Nobody's been like, hard ass and said, this is the way it should be or anything. Yeah. So that's gone really well. I haven't had to do anything like that.
And you mentioned that briefly. So if you're in you're watching the video and you're not in the Binary Ninja Slack, there's actually a channel called ARM-Day. It's a little play on words from like a workout type thing to even lift bro. And that's where a lot of the people working on the ARM architecture stuff are hanging out and communicating. So if you're really into ARM, like that's the place to go chill. So I thank you. I want to give the audience, if they have any other questions that we didn't cover, want to know kind of more about how this works, or have questions about instructions or the process. I do think though that that the standalone libraries are out there. It's really nice, so people can go and see what you've done, right? Like they can take a look at the output and see how it works. And
let me mention something real quick. You said that, that there's the standalone disassembler. The disassembler is in a subdirectory within the ARM architecture repo, and it already is a standalone disassembler. And there's a little makefile there that you can just run.
Oh,
and
that's
you will
right.
get a standalone command line disassembler. What YRP is doing is he wanted to have a separate decoder in disassembler, because the disassembler, the string making part, is so filled up and bloated with strings and lookups and stuff. If you just wanted to do decoding, he wanted a separate library so that he can put it, in whatever environment he wanted, standalone. So if you wanted to repurpose this and play with it, and it's already done, you're not doing the work. Just go in, type make, and it's pure C. It's a very, very straightforward, and it's made to be modular like that. Of course, it is used by our architecture, but you can use it standalone or repurpose it if you'd like to play with it.
That's a really good clarification. I totally got that wrong then. Thank you. Yeah, it's a good point. Mechanical Noel says Batman never skips leg day. He also doesn't skip arm day if he's interested in iPhones and Androids, I think. But I don't know. There's probably a better joke to be made there. All right, I gotta shut that off. What am I doing? Oh no, the stream hung.
So are we streaming now? Or are we cut off?
I think we're back again. Sorry about that,
Okay.
everybody. Hold on. Let me take a second and like shut off whatever thing is killing this, because I think there's like a media file in the background that's, yeah, just nuke these. I will manually stop streaming and I will manually switch to that. Please don't do this. Is that the one that's switching? No, what is switching to? I don't even understand. Something is automatically switching. Turning off all of my auto auto stuff. Anyway, yeah, I think that's I think we're back. Hopefully it doesn't do it again. I think this is the most like buggy stream I've had so far. All right.
Were there any questions?
I know, no questions in chat. I guess people either already happy with the results or so Josh, the reason I have an outro timer, like actually I didn't think I had an outro timer. I had a timer so that when the intro is done, it transitions to the next scene, and the outro, when the outro video is done, it transitions to the stop stream thing automatically. So I don't have to, and also the intro one transitions through when it starts recording too, so I don't record the 10 minutes. So I have like a couple of timers kind of built in where it does that. And they are normally a good thing. I went through and fiddled with it because I wanted to change how the auto start one wasn't working in previous weeks. You notice the countdown would go to like starting now and then just sit there for like 5 seconds because I had to go over and like push it by hand. So anyways, so I thought I fixed that, which I did, but then I apparently broke something else. So anyway, all right. Well, Andrew, thanks for hanging out, taking some time. And if you guys have any questions for him, hop into chat and you can catch him there.
Okay.
But thanks for hanging out.
All right. Bye, everyone.
All right. See you, Andrew. All right. So I promised Andrew I'd let him go first so that he can get to family time afterwards. He didn't have to take too much of his time for stream. But if you guys have any other questions about that, the main other thing that I kind of wanted to go over is I wanted to review some of the stuff from this week. I want to talk about some of the code changes. I expect it'll probably be a shorter stream, but if y'all have any other ideas for topics too, let me know. And likewise, I said in the start timer, if you guys have ideas for things you'd like to see, please let me know for future weeks. So I just grabbed the latest dev, and I'm excited because I thought this was going to have to maybe be a test branch. But if you're watching the dev commits on GitHub or on Slack, you would have seen that Brian committed a kind of nifty feature that I know several people are going to be excited about. So if I open a binary, there is a new icon down there. Oh no, hold on. I'm covering it. Here, let me shrink my video. Y'all don't need to see me. So right down here is this little lock, right? And so if you have been using Binja for a while, you've probably run into a situation where you've done something like, I don't know, you copied something, anything, and then you were analyzing some code and you meant to copy and you pasted instead. And so you notice I just tried to paste, but what I got instead was unable to perform modify action while write traction is enabled. So this is a brand new feature. There may still be some little bit of changes, and if you guys have feedback on how it works, let us know. But this is super nice. So like you can't actually edit things in this view without first unclicking the little icon. So now that it's unlocked, now if I paste it, I could completely break that function and undo it. But it kind of adds a little right lock, which is again on by default. Actually, I think one of the things I want to try is let's just, oh nope, count equals 1. No, the modification is just to the raw binary, right? That's a good question. So for example, this one is still right locked. I can still make any changes to like my analysis that I want. It's just to prevent you from modifying the file contents. All right. Yeah, exactly, Evan. Like you've got C and V, copy and paste. It's just really, really easy to do that accidentally. And so, I mean, yeah, we have like undo, but like a lot of people don't notice undo. I don't notice they've made the change until later, and then you're like, wow, I just blew out this thing. So this has been kind of like this one of those things that's been nagging us of like, yeah, we really want to add it. Like, I really love all of the easy ways we have to patch binaries. In fact, we have a whole blog post that if you're interested, you should called Changes in the Wind, on like the third page of our blog, I think right now. That Change in the Air, there it is. It just literally describes all of the many ways that you can modify a binary, and there's like tons of different ways that you might not be aware of that you can do it. You can do it with, you can change the actual file contents, but it was just too easy to accidentally change things. And likewise, if you happen to be in like if you hit HTTP and hex view, and like you're just scrolling around and you hit like G to like go to somewhere, if you're over here, it knows that you're not typing, and so it does go to. But if you're over here, it actually would try to write just an ASCII G over top of wherever you were, whatever you were. And so that was kind of annoying, right? Like you would just click over here and that would happen. But now it's going to be locked by default. So the thing I wanted to test, and again, like it's a very early dev feature. We'll probably iterate a little bit. Feedback is welcome. But I wanted to open that random file that I just made. Because one of the things that I was thinking was, if you open a file, yeah, that's just like a raw file, right? Like I don't want any mapped memory view. I just want to open it as like the Binary Ninja hex edit mode. That's not what I want. G there. Yeah, so that's my only feature request is going to be, I think if you open something without a view, right? Like I'm in the, or even if you're in the raw view, like the lock shouldn't be there, shouldn't apply. But I don't know, like there's, that's something that people might have opinions on. So I'd love to hear feedback from folks. So yeah, it does. It basically just blocks. And somebody else asked in chat too, like if I want to do like, so here still works in the console, bv.write address and then data. Okay, so address of this, and so if I want to write some data here, right, that still works. Now, so you can still use the API just fine. So any plugins that will write or modify aren't blocked. Don't have to change anything. I just hit undo to Control-Z to undo that. Just a pure UI mechanism, which I think is really all it needs to be. Ooh. Toggle write traction. Yeah. So you can map it to a hotkey, right? So watch this. How about I don't think, is T used for anything? So toggle write traction. So Control T is new tab, but I think TUI itself might not be used for anything. Let's see here. Let me search for key bindings. View and, oh, that's right, types view. Yeah, I don't use types view. That's not true. I do. But let's just delete that. Just what's the way to delete this? Actually, Glenn, I saw earlier. If he's still around, is there a way to like delete it from here? So I think the way I would delete it if I wanted to undo a hotkey entirely is I can just go and change it in the right click. Yeah, there we go. See, this is why you keep the guys who built this stuff on the line. That's handy. All right, so right click. Yeah, that makes sense. That way you can still bind backspace or escape or anything. Let's try it. Let's see if we hit A here, but I hit backspace on the row. That removes, that's default. Yeah, backspace will do a reset to default, which is not unreasonable. But anyway, so traction. So now I can T. Should I be able to? 90, 90, 90, T. Is my toggle not working? It says it's working. That's what it is. 90. Yeah. I don't think I can, for some reason, key binding didn't work. I wonder if it's because the view I'm in. Yeah. That should work. I'll have to play with that more. But anyway, I really like that that particular feature. The other thing that y'all may notice is that the right. You're killing me, Smalls. I have no idea what timer that is now. I have so many timers that I have to like worry about. I wonder if it's my countdown timer. I think it's the every minute countdown timer, so I'm just gonna make that 100 minutes. But that should switch it to the intro string, not the outro. I don't know. Yeah, so every 10 minutes, it's got to be. I don't know. Um, I'm just gonna suffer through it. I think that was probably it. So I changed it to 100 minutes. We'll see. We'll see if that helps. We're doing it live. That's right. So what I was trying to get to is this right click refactor has landed on dev. It is not in its final form. I expect it will probably have a few more changes, and would love some feedback on that. So it's pretty consolidated now. We've got a lot of things shoved under, and like this is one that, for example, internally we took issue with. Like if I have a single item under here, that's bad design, right? Like it should just live on the main one. Now, if you actually select a variable and right click, you'll notice you've got two, but arguably maybe both of those just belong in the main menu, the main context menu. And then there's some other things we might be able to like between address and function. Should some of these kind of be brought back up? So we're still debating the exact mechanism, but the biggest win and most obvious one is that plugins are all off there. So my right click menu doesn't totally take over. Likewise with the tools menu. The tools menu plugins all live within a separate window, and that's all landed on dev. So that's been another nice change. Let's see. What other changes happened this week? There's one that you can't see because I'm on a tiling window manager, but on platforms where you do have a window manager, there is a title bar that has the version information. So it's actually for Vector35 more than anybody. When somebody sends a screenshot for support of a bug they're running into, having the version there, it makes it a lot easier for us to say like immediately like, oh, you should try dev, like that fixes that bug, instead of kind of back and forth. But it's also nice to know like right now if you open a new tab, you can get the current version you're on there, but just having it up in the URL bar is kind of handy. So that was a really small change that made it in this week. What else? Let's see. Oh, I know. There's another good one. Actually, and while I'm doing this, we can go look at all of them. Look at all of the bugs closed this week. That was the wrong repo. So issues closed, sort by last updated. Yeah, so this is the other one. So there we go. There's the one that Brian just closed with the right lock, which is a really nice one, and that's yeah, this read-only mode basically, which is the same thing. Welcome. No worries. Good to see you, Valgrind. We were hanging out. Andrew came on and talked about how the codegen works on the ARM architecture, how it actually parses the spec, and we looked a little bit at the spec. Talked to him. It's probably going to be a short stream, anyways. I don't think we're gonna have too much. We caught up with this new right lock feature that is on dev that Brian just finished, which prevents you from accidentally making changes to code by having a little lock there, which is very nicely usability improvement. And then this one. So if you've never seen this one before, you get. In fact, this even came up recently in if you get certain layouts, and I mean I can't reproduce it now because this is a fixed one, but you would get like the horizontal scroll bar would show up and then disappear, then show up and disappear, and it would flicker through it. And so like if you scrolled even a little bit, it would go away. But it was an annoying bug. Like if you ran into it, I'm wondering if I changed my window layout. Yeah, like I said, this version here is fixed. So yep, that bug is squashed. Brian got that one dead earlier. And oh, this is really big to me. Y'all won't notice the difference, but I can actually use my forward back mouse buttons in my VM. Like that makes me very happy. It's a little thing that was really bugging me. If you're curious, there is a setting you can make in your VMX config on Fusion or Workstation that basically tells your host OS to pass in the mouse as a like not a simplified device essentially. And as far as I can tell, there's no other downsides. Like it doesn't block me from going in or out or anything like that. But I can now use forward and back, which is pretty nice. Right, there was a fix in the template simplification. So, and this is actually a feature that I think a lot of people may not even know is in there, but there's the new template simplifier for very convoluted C++ templates. If they're based on like standard string or standard library objects, you can get just this a much cleaner, simplified. It basically looks like what it would have been written in source instead of the full name that actually gets compiled to. So that's really nice if you're reversing some C++. There was actually a crash in the Rust of all things, because I thought Rust didn't have crashes, but apparently there is still some bug that existed there. But Kyle went ahead and fixed that. And then this is another big one that landed, which is that you can now have like, so in fact this actually happened to me on startup just now, so I can actually reproduce this. If I quit Binja, I can show you. So if you've ever dealt with native plugins, in fact, you can see here how I was removing these plugins because they were binary incompatible. They were like a compiled one where the API changed. So if you're on Develot and you're constantly updating your plugins, you'd have to recompile them every time you did if there was any changes to the API. Whereas the Python one obviously is a lot more resilient. So if I Binja Hexagon is a good example. Dev Binja Hexagon build plugin. So this is the Hexagon plugin, which I installed a couple weeks back. And if I restart Binja, previously, if you had a bad architecture, it would load, but then you would like go to like a random file and you would bring up the assemble dialog and Binja would crash. It would just die because then it tried to enumerate architectural properties. So it was this kind of weird, annoying bug. But now you'll notice I've actually got this error down here. Look, I'm not saying Rust is like all bad. No, it was a very lovely crash message and very clean. Maybe I should go read it. Is it not actually a Rust problem? I should go check that out. But wait, was that it? Map view of type, no architecture selected, binary view of mapped. That's not the error I was looking for. I was looking for an error on the hexagon. I thought there was an error on that. Wait, this not. Was that a bad demo? I do this so many times. Thanks, BinDiff. One of these days, I'll have to play with BinDiff. I did get it working here once, because I think it's a nice. We could show off the BinDiff plugin. No, that plugin didn't have an issue. So how about bin export? Maybe that was the one that was older. So let's try that one. No, it's fine. Well, that was a bad demo, Jordan. I thought I did this before I... Maybe it was the libxd6 extension? There. Actually. Whoa, I don't know what I just did there. See, minor ninja. All right. Nice slow breaths. Make sure we actually get things right. All right. That's not going to work. All right. Yeah, let me look at that. What was the error in the... Oh, out of bounds. Oh, right. So it caught an out of bounds read. Well, look at that. That is Rust doing its job, I suppose. Catching the bugs before they can do anything bad. All right. So now that I've linked the plugin, now let's restart. No, see, it's still not working. Okay, well, for whatever reason, it's fine. But the point of that fix was that there is now a version check. Hi guys. It's turned off. I turned it to 100 minutes. My code. Oh, my code's so bad. I apparently can't write Lua. So this is definitely gonna be a shorter stream today because I can't bear another one of those. It's killing me. Um, every 10 minutes we get a little wake up. Wait, we have a Brinley and a Brainy. Oh man, y'all's handles are gonna be so similar. Thanks, Peter. That's right. Only 10 minutes. That's it. And now we're gonna change topic in 10 minutes. I wish I had it is Friday evening. I wish I had an adult beverage. I just have chai and water. But yeah, every time we get another intro video, it's time for a hydration break. Everyone take a drink. That does remind me, however, um, that no one has successfully identified the source of our intro audio yet. So I'm going to be a little bit more explicit. I think last week I gave you all the hint, Poet. That is the site poet.net, right? Which is Poet Pouet.net. So this was the demo, the hint. So the intro sound and outro sound came from, yep, exactly, Pouet. And I even checked the pronunciation last week. So if I think I said it was going to be a Binary Ninja prize. It's not going to be in focus there. Is it showing up? Yeah. There's a Benji. So the prize would be you can get one of our little 3D Benjis right there. That's pretty good. So that's the prize still, and you have to identify which demo scene our intro and outro music came from. And I actually got in touch with the author and got rights to use the sound too, for what it's worth. So sorry, Brainy, I'm just catching up on your. Yeah, you've come to join the most glitchy stream ever. I've got every 10 minutes I get a little interruption from a rogue timer for some code that I wrote. Can I disable that script entirely? Hold on, scripts. Oh yeah, I can just unload that script. Let's just remove you. Maybe that'll work. I've unloaded it. We'll see if that helps. Sweet. Yeah, no, and Brandy, one thing I would love to point out is that there's Binary Ninja Cloud is a free version of Binary Ninja you can check out right now. So you can upload any binary you want and look at it in Binary Ninja Cloud and get like all of our different analysis levels. So if you click up here, like it says disassembly, low level IL, medium level IL, high level IL, we keep meaning to make high level IL the default in cloud. I don't think we've done that yet, but yeah, so you don't even have to get a license. You can check it out beforehand. And then once you've got a license, come back and watch the streams and catch up on all the cool features. We try to cover kind of like an older topic or a general topic, or we'll talk about a plugin. And then we also like to cover just sort of like the latest happenings. So what's happened, like Binary Ninja in the news this week, what's been going on with it, and what the developers have done. So that was what we were doing here, looking over all of our issues. So yeah, so no more crashing plugins. The API will now check if your native plugin is compatible before it loads it. So if it's not, it won't load. And interestingly enough, if you're building in Rust, it's automatic and you don't have to do anything, even for older plugins. Newer C++ plugins have to be recompiled to get the auto version built in, but the core will recognize and not load them, I believe, if they're older. So if it doesn't support it, it will just say, yeah, it's not a safe one. I think that's how it worked. Maybe that's why I wasn't getting those errors on those plugins. I forget. Anyway, so I think that's it for the news here. One other thing I'm going to mention is that we're kind of getting into the home stretch for 2.3. So you notice we've got we sort of make these targets are kind of arbitrary, but we like to do a bunch of features that we've got tagged so you can see here's all the closed issues, things that we finished that we were going to add for our 2.3 release. And here's the stuff that's left, almost all of which have somebody currently actively working on it. I think the only two that don't have, actually, I don't know which one Rusty is working on. He might be working on either the dead code elimination or the search enhancements, but he'll be working on one of those two. And then everything else is already kind of in progress. So we're making good progress on that. I also want to remind people that we do have our student internships too. So if you are interested in that, students internship, there's so I don't think we've changed anything. I think if everything should either be in future or 2.3 at this point. We actually should probably have a little more granularity and that. But yeah, so everything should either be one of the two of these. Oh, well, yeah, that is weird. Oh, no, so we've got 3.0 instead of future. Oh, no, that's weird. Why did we close future? That may have been a bug. Or maybe does it auto close when you finish everything in it? No, I feel like that was a bug. I don't know. Maybe Peter did that and I just missed it. Wasn't paying attention. Yeah, like this one was actually completed. Actually, yeah, this one shouldn't be. This one was just like solved and done. It shouldn't be tagged for future. It should have been tagged for 2.3 or 2.2. This just actually came out. Oh, okay, yeah. So Peter did just close it out because it was it wasn't super organized. I think we do need to do a better job of actually having. So you could basically find anything with no milestone at this point is equivalent to future. Maybe we'll redo that. The future is complete. Yeah, so we really need like a better triaging system of like, so there was some stuff in future that was like, yeah, maybe someday we'll get to it, sure. And then some things were like, oh no, like that's definitely something we want in a release in the next, year or whatever. So just having it all in future makes sense that it wasn't particularly useful. But 2.3, yeah, so we need to go and probably pick the more things that are going to live in 3.0. But I'm excited by this one. These UI, there's some cool UI stuff we're planning for 3.0, which should be a lot of fun. But search enhancements will also be pretty nice. There's definitely some good stuff coming. So yeah, Brady, we have a Slack. So it's just slack.binary.ninja. Although I think so right now we had a spammer come through, and so it's on manual verification, so that'll take you like to a Google form. But if you do that right now, as soon as I'm done with the stream, I'll go and look on it and give you an invite for it. We debated IRC or Discord or Slack, and when we started 6 years ago, I think we first put it up. Like Slack was a better option than Discord, I think, at the time. And if I had to do it now, maybe I would do Discord, but. So yeah, I think that's the current state of the plugins. Like I said, I think it's just going to be a short stream. Probably going to wrap it up pretty soon. If y'all have any questions or anything you kind of want to talk over, happy to go over them. But I just had a couple of easy stuff today to catch up on. So yeah, I'll give it a second in case anybody thinks of any questions they want to ask. I will. Do we have details on search enhancements? Yeah. Oh, there we go. Good. We've got some good comments here. Yeah. So there's some ideas for things that we really want to improve with search, but search has been on our list for a while of like, yeah, like the current search, right, is, Peter did add one nice thing that, well, it lacked for a long time, which was literally just this text search. So if you wanted to search for anything, like you could search for things that were in the raw like listing of whatever view you were in, but they wouldn't actually show up. You couldn't search for it because you can only search for like literally bytes and raw strings and hex strings in just the binary essentially. And so awesome, Brady, cool. I'll check that out afterwards and get you invited. And then the last one is you could search for like a constant, but like this text, adding this text search helped a ton. But there's still, obviously a lot more regular expressions, specifying a particular IL, even if you aren't looking at that IL. What else do we have on the list? Yeah, limit to the current function, or just a range of memory. Maybe you want to search a particular range for a particular byte sequence. And then also like a persistent list, right? So like, for example, I have a list of cross references down here, and I can hit Shift X and pin those cross references. It's also, I think it's in the right click menu. Yeah, focus pin cross references. It'll save those. And so now if I click around, I don't lose the cross references. I shouldn't. Did I? Where did the cross references go? Am I filtered on them? I thought that stuck the cross references. What am I doing wrong? Oh, is it view as table? No? Why did pin cross references change? Huh. That feels like a bug. We'll see. Maybe Peter will correct me if I'm doing it wrong. Yeah, so now they're not changing. Oh, that was weird. Yeah, so now they're doing what I expected. Oh, I wonder if it's because it was an IL? Ah, you know what? That might be from because those were IL cross references. Let's see, or data references. So if I pin the data cross references, I bet that's what it is. Yeah, I think that's a bug maybe. Um, the so hitting Shift X will nominally, if you've got like this is a more reliable one. If I've got a function which has a lot of cross references, none of these do. Come on, where's some of the more cross references? Can you function with lots of cross references? I mean, sure, there's two. Okay, so this is two cross references. So as I navigate around, this is nice for like a little kind of to-do list. Same thing with search, right? Like you want to be able to search and have a persistent search box that stays up. And then actually I should be able to now hit I. Yeah, and navigate a little bit more smoothly. Interesting, the switch case. The switch case seems to mess it up. So I think the one direction should be working better. But like you can keep this persistent list up. Hitting and then switching between the ILs should track on that call. And it stays there, but when I'm switching into high level IL, I'm losing it. Oh, I think Brian did say that maybe the medium to high level IL did have one last API fix up for that mapping. But yeah, I would really, really like this to be a persistent search potentially too, right? So right now you can do persistent cross references, but doing a persistent list of searches, I want to find all strings or find all, whatever I want to find, and then pin the results so that I can now walk through them like that. I think that's also coming. The other feature that we showed off on stream a couple weeks ago, where we were looking at variable cross references, that's also still under development. It's gotten some improvements and now can show cross references in the IL views that they happen in, which is really nice. And so hopefully that's also part of the current list of 2.3. So the structure type cross references and variable cross references are both going to be kind of complete and landing here pretty soon. I think it's pretty close to complete, if not already feature complete, and just waiting on some code review. So that'll also be coming soon. And I do like that you'll notice we've called these high impact, both of them, which I totally agree. I think that really helps, adds new workflow and helps workflows to be able to get those cross references there, which is nice. So, oh look, this one doesn't have impact tags. We should go add those. But yeah. So thanks for hanging out, everybody. Sorry it was a short one, but you know what? Maybe it is a scene transition. Yeah, do we miss it? I think maybe I finally defeated it, removing the script entirely. And certainly it was my bad Lua code because it's an OBS Lua script that I've modified and ripped off somebody else to try to do the countdown text at the beginning. And I was trying to make it so it could. Oh, that's what I did. I was trying to make it so it could restart the countdown if you activated the scene again. But I think it was just restarting the countdown even if I hadn't activated the scene. And so it was re-triggering itself every time before it left. And it was just setting a new 10-minute timer. So yeah, removing the script finally fixed that. But that'll do it. I mean, I got a proper... I'm still going to do the outro. I just have to like manually go and push the button for the outro. I know. It's all a lot of work on that stream. So, all right. Well, oh, my son just told me. My son just told me he's watching the stream now, and he's sad for me that the 10-minute. Do you guys want to hang out to see if I've actually? Yeah. What's the stream bet for in 3 minutes if the timer goes off? I'm gonna say I fixed it. I'm pretty confident. So if somebody wants to bet me on internet points and wants me to hang out for 3 minutes to see if it triggers, I'm down for that. The nice thing is, for people that come later, I'll try to add each of the segments. So I'll make sure to like tag the end of this as like wasted time while we wait to see if it's actually if the 10-minute timer is actually gone or not yet. Yes, Isaac, I fixed it. I thought I turned on Do Not Disturb as well, but apparently he can still message me on my iPad and it pops up, which is my confidence monitor for chat. Well, in the meantime, let me think about what else that I can. Haha, almost got you. Yeah, your internet points. I mean, I'd take GameStop instead if you got GameStop stock. Well, it's still worth something. We'll see how long that lasts. Oh, so that is another. Oh, it just navigated to 64 because 64 is a valid address. Actually, you know what? I think we changed that in the Python log. Did we make that to double click? I forget what I changed in that on the Python side. But I think in the log side, no, it's still single click. I'm trying to remember what I changed. Yeah, we were debating making it double click. But just 64 by itself is being treated as hex and going there. Yeah, I mean, we probably should have, I don't know, I guess because this is based at 0, small constants are triggering. I wonder if we should add some checks for that, because you can click those to navigate on it. What I was going to say though is that Peter's actually working on expanding out the libc things too, so that is also coming, where doing a better job with our libc architecture support. So in fact, I thought he already had x86. I think the reason these aren't checked is because the other architectures don't exist yet. But ooh, yeah, no, Glenn, tell me about this feature. Shift return in the Python console. So you can automatically it either submits or does multi-line. So you can get more space. Oh, okay, right, yeah. So if you just want to start with a bigger block, instead of like doing if true colon and forcing it into multi-line mode, you can just do, where to go? You can just do shift colon from the or shift enter for the beginning. All right, I don't think I've used that one yet. Then so it still puts the new line there. So I have to like go back. I guess I could just print from here. Yeah, it still works just fine. And now if I just shift enter at the end, if I'm already in multi-line, it just acts as the same as enter. So it's no different there. That makes sense. So I think, have we done it yet? Oh, go team. We didn't trigger our 10-minute timer. So I'm gonna go with that's a success. And I know where my bug is, and it's my bug in my Lua. All right. Thanks everybody for hanging out. We'll catch you next week. I'll be back. I think I'm taking the week following that off, I forget. I'll have to double check the exact calendar. I'll have it up next time, and I'll try to do a better job of a better tweet beforehand. So, yeah, thanks again for hanging out, and don't worry, Peter. Here's your outro.